I'm live. Hello. Howdy. I'm going to give y'all a couple more minutes to get yourselves eased on up in here. I see there ain't nobody in here right now. But yeah, I'll wait. I will wait for you. I will wait for you. Uh, Holla at me, y'all, when y'all get up in here. Say what's going on, what's cracking, what's popping, what's going down. Goodness gracious. Whew. Lord, the summer has been a summer, hasn't it? Mm. Look good, look good. You look good. Got my got my scent, got my scent thing in here. Just gotta, yeah, you gotta give off some, you know what I mean, some scent, some ambiance in the room. Not like I'm stinking or nothing, but just, every now and then you have to give off a little scent, a little ambiance in the room. So that's what I'm doing. Also, I will be looking things up. Give you about 5 minutes, then I dive in, do what I need to do, say what I need to say, and we be out. Shameless self plug. Well, for my squad anyway. I'll be doing some self plugging too. That's always fun. Ooh. What's the deal with the friend request that's like when you go and check it out and it be like they talk about sex? Why they talking about sex? Um, I don't know what that part is, homie. And it's a bunch of them too. They're popular. Nuts. Okay, we almost at the 5 minute mark. If y'all getting in, y'all better get in where y'all fit in. we 5 minutes in, and we gonna go ahead and get it started up in this piece. What up? What's cracking, y'all? What's happening? It's your man D-Real, and edutainment is what I do, and I'm doing it for weekend speaking. That's what I'm gonna call it. It's gonna. For a long time I couldn't come up with a term that best quantifies what I do on the weekend, because I don't always do it every weekend, because just like y'all, I happen to have a life. But if I'm trying to eat, then I need to make time for this, right? So here I am making time for this, showing y'all, yeah, now, tis what it is. I had a lot of things on my mind this weekend. And as and as I always say, I won't be before you long, but I end up, spending some amount of time before you, longer than what I had originally anticipated. So, how was your week? Was your week good? Yes, no, maybe. Glad to hear that. Sorry to hear that. Mine was pretty good. I I went to Dave and Buster's, and I took the whole family, and it was exactly what I thought it would be. So that being said, that's where my weekend is right now. But what I want to talk about first is this He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoon series on Netflix. I have only watched one episode. Just one episode, no more, no less. But dang, the one episode I did watch, the very first one, it it puts everything in perspective. I mean, it is appropriately named He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Revelation, because some things get revealed, and the ramifications of those revelations cause situations. You can't make that up. That was a great freestyle. You're welcome. You are so welcome. But anyway, yeah, man, he man is off to a OMG start, a OMMFG start. I was like, whoa. They blew me away in 20 minutes. It's only like 5 episodes in the first season, and I'm gonna go ahead and binge that. Real talk. Y'all like my cup? That's a nice cup there. I got that, of course, during Super Bowl 54, from my friend Sonia. She got that for me. Thank you again, Sonia. Um, represent. We won the division 5, going on 6 times, been in the last 3 AFC championships and won 2 of them, and have been in the last 2 Super Bowls and won one of those. You gonna have to see us. Trust and believe. You gonna have to see us. But anyway, this He-Man cartoon, it's written and produced by Kevin Smith, and I must say, good job, Kevin Smith. Very, very good job, Kevin Smith. You did your thing with this iteration of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Also, I might add, just from me watching that one episode, I noticed that it draws heavily on elements from the original series, elements from the 2000 series, and the 1987 movie. Bruh is going all the way down in that cartoon. Mark Hamill is doing the voice of Skeletor. Notice that right off the bat. Susan Eisenberg, who is famous for doing the voice of Wonder Woman, for the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited series, does the voice of the sorceress. A couple of other voices I recognize, but I'm not able to make out right away. And I know Phil Lamar, veteran voice actor, former actor on Mad TV, is he does some voice work too. So he's always Samurai Jack. So he's always nice to hear. And it's man, I'm telling you, if you have not watched it yet, go ahead and watch that first episode. Trust me, off the chisel for Rizzle. Diversity. Let's talk a little bit, just a little teeny tiny bit about diversity. We're talking about diversity in roles in movies, specifically for people of color. I don't think we are going to be able to play that card anymore because it seems like people of color are starting to get airplay in roles, particularly in comic and superhero based roles. We have Zoe Kravitz, who is going to be in the role of Selena Kyle / Catwoman for the next Batman movie. Good grief. Man, y'all are making another Batman movie. Help me. Help me. Leslie Grace, Latin entertainer, singer, is going to be playing Batgirl in an upcoming feature. Batgirl. Okay. That makes sense since, Jeffrey Wright is going to be Commissioner Gordon. Okay. Yeah. Let's go ahead and work it. Aldous Hodge in the role of Hawkman in the upcoming Black Adam film, and Zawe Ashton in the next Captain Marvel movie, who, after a little research, I have discovered is either going to be playing one of 4 roles. She will either be cast as the new Mystique, which will usher in the presence of mutants in the Marvel Universe proper, Deathbird, which I would be kind of thrilled to see because then that would mean the existence of the Shi'ar universe is now in MCU continuity as well. And the other 2 choices are either Rogue or Moonstone. I assume she can't be the Carla Sofin version because Zawe Ashton doesn't look like a Carla Sofin. But what does a Carla Sofin look like? I don't know. Carla Sofin, when I hear that name, does not sound like a sister when I think about it. And recently announced, Michaela Cole of the HBO series I May Destroy You is going to be in an unknown role in Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever. Some people say she may be playing Storm, but guess what? For me, it don't matter because if there is not a T'Challa in it, I do not care to view the movie. It's unprecedented. Nobody makes a movie about a superhero and the title character is not in the movie. And it hasn't been announced that that title character is going to be in the movie. It has been announced, though, that the title character isn't going to be in the movie, that they're not recasting the character. Blasphemous. Why on earth would you have a superhero movie and not have, I don't know. All right, I'm going to stop. Because I could go on for days and days and days and days with displays to keep you crazed. I don't know. I'm on my rhyme tip today. Just, I would say if there are that many, what did I name off? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5. That's 5 people of color who have been cast in roles in upcoming movies that are coming out within the next year or two. I would say, and this is just me, I'm gonna go out on a rail here and be different and say diversity doesn't appear to be a problem in movies if you have cast roles for 5 people of color in upcoming movies. I get it. We haven't been represented very well, but it seems like they're trying to make up for that in a massive, major way. I get it. I understand. Any Anytime we're present on the screen is a win versus us not being on the screen. But at the same time, we need to be a little more particular about the roles, and we need to be a little, and when I say we, I mean we as the actors who are getting cast in these roles, we need to be a little more particular about how we go about doing this. We also need to be a little more particular about the roles we actually take. Do a little research into the character. If I were an actor and my agent, well, I am an actor, I'm just not a professional one yet. If I were an actor and I were asked, they said, okay, hey D, we got this role. And I go, all right, what's the role? And they say to me, it's the role of, we're recasting George Washington as a black man. Would I just, because there's that dynamic too. Because if I'm a starving artist, I might jump up and go, yeah, I'll be Black George Washington, and don't think about the ramifications that accepting that role will have in general, and just saying, F it, I got 8, and this role's paying, so I'm taking it. Not at all worried about the impact that role is going to have on your career and on Black and white people in general. People need their sensibilities shook up every now and then. I don't have a problem with that. But if you're going to bend, twist, reimagine, redirect, recreate, retcon a role, think about the sensitivity. I mean, look at the fans of Superman and how they are responding to this potential recast of Superman as a black man. We talking Superman here, y'all. Flagship character, the superhero that started all superheroing for the most part. And you're just going to recast that role into a black man. I understand roles in comics are one thing. And what they did in the comics was they made a black Superman in addition to, not in place of. You see what I'm saying? So if you want to make a power absorbing character with a white streak in her hair whose name is not Rogue or Marie and she's black, then that's plagiarism. How about as many independent artists out there? Shout out to my man Greg Burnham and Tuskegee Ayers. As many artists as there are out there with unique content, unique material, unique characters, why do we need to be revamping old ones? Just a thought. You know what I'm saying? Diversity's cool, but diversity, I feel like it still has to come in context. I shouldn't be able to just go, okay, I'm going to take Shang-Chi and I'm going to make him Jamaican. And he can be Shazachi. I mean, whatever it is, we got to have some kind of sensitivity and understanding of characters before we say, oh, I need to recast that character. I need to revamp that character. I need to just get rid of that character altogether and put what I feel like putting in there. Do we think about the ramifications that that's going to have? And is that a financial decision, a plot decision, or an emotional decision? Because that's what it seems like these casting choices are coming from. Some are coming from an emotional place, some are coming from a financial place, and some are just coming from a writing place, a plot place, a developmental place. Now, if I'm changing a character, changing their race, changing their gender, changing their identity, changing everything except the name, that sound, if it ties into the plot and drives the plot, moves the plot forward, that's okay. That should be cool. That should be doable. But if it's something we're just doing for shock value, i.e., Black Superman, don't do that. Keep it pushing, y'all. Keep it pushing. Just, we don't even need that. Now, if you're doing it from like a standpoint, like what they're doing with, casting, let's go Aldous Hodge. Aldous Hodge as Hawkman, that sounds like an opportunity type thing. It's definitely a payday for Mr. Hodge, but at the same time, are we gonna explore the comedic, the Egyptian aspects of Hawkman's character? Are we gonna examine the reincarnation aspects of Hawkman's character, and do those reincarnations come as different races? Is Hawkman going to be reincarnated as a black man when he was a Caucasian man in a previous life? Don't know. That would be a plot driving thing. So it is what it is. Now, just real quick, I want to talk about a situation that has recently occurred. I saw it in video replay, and it's an accident. It's a car accident. And it's just a fender bender, nothing major. And there is a Caucasian female cop who's handling the situation. There is an African American woman and a Caucasian man. The Caucasian man happens to be an off-duty cop. That's going to factor in a little later. Stay with me. Now, this woman, she pulls out her phone, okay, which is pretty much what we do nowadays on reflex. But she pulls out her phone to record the situation. She records the off-duty cop's car. Clearly, the off-duty cop scraped the side of her car. Visible. The damage is visible. The damage is visible on the left quarter panel of his car. Right side passenger door is scraped up on the lady's car. This cop goes to the fender of this woman's car and says, was that damage there? And from what I can see on the video, there is absolutely no damage to the car on the fender. Damage is on the door, no damage to the car. Now, and this is what I urge everybody to remember about videos. When you see a video, no matter what's happening in that video, unless that situation is recorded from beginning to end, you are getting snapshots of the situation. And what I mean by snapshots is you're getting one aspect, you're getting one viewpoint of the situation entire. So bear that in mind as I continue. Now, the cop is focusing, dare I say it, even perseverating on this woman's fender that has no damage, but is like not even tripping on the obvious damage that you can see that's right there. And I'm like, what the hell? Why is she bugging out about that? And she's trying to explain it to where it makes sense, and it makes no sense whatsoever. And then you can hear her stuttering, and she's getting all verklempt, and she's trying to figure things out. And this lady cop is just making a complete and total ass of herself. Now, my question was that a code of silence thing? Was she trying to help the off-duty cop get out of that situation, or is she just an absolutely terrible police officer? I don't know, family. I just feel like we live in a society where we have to be ultra sensitive about everything that goes on around us, everything we do, everything we say, as well as everything that goes on around us. And I submit to y'all today on Be Real with D Real, 26 minutes and 45 seconds into the stream, that's BS. Why do we, as people of color, have to be on our guard all the time, have to be aware not to fall for the okie doke, not to get caught up in some weird situations, not to be made into fools, because we have to be hyper vigilant about everything, everywhere. It's just, I don't get that. Why are there still police officers? Well, I get it. I do get it. But I feel like it's terrible, and it's a piss poor commentary about us as human beings on this planet not having the basic respect you're supposed to have for your fellow human beings, and feel like because of your skin color, or because of your station in life, or because you got a weapon and somebody else don't, it gives you the right to treat them a certain way or talk to them a certain way. But then I could be devil's advocate and say same thing goes on the street. I could talk to you any way I want to talk to you, and you could talk to me any way you want to talk to me, until Mr. 45 or Mr. 9mm comes out, and a different tune begins to be sung. Is that the same kind of mentality that we have to deal with the police? I'm not scared of the police because he's the police. I'm scared of the police because of what the police can do to me, because of what can happen to me in a situation with the police. And why am I more afraid of a police officer with a gun than I am a strange individual on the street with a gun? Because the likelihood of me being shot is greater? Or is it really greater? I don't know. Sometimes I wonder about that kind of thing and say to myself, it needs more attention. We need to put more attention on those kinds of things, those kinds of occurrences. I mean, not to kick up dust and say, oh, we want to protest this, or oh, we want to march because of that. And that has its place. But at the same time, ain't it a human issue? It's a human issue. It's human beings we're talking about. Black, white, red, brown, purple. To me, it should be secondary. If you learn how to treat a human being like a human being, you will treat all human beings like human beings. My goodness, isn't that fascinating? That if we take the humanist approach, that's the more beneficial approach for everyone. Okay. I understand some Caucasian people don't like to be reminded of the atrocities that their people committed and perpetrated on indigenous people, on uh, Africans and African American people, and basically any dark skinned group of people who dwell on this planet. Find me a group of dark or brown skinned people who dwell on this planet who have not been exploited, who have not been murdered, raped, swindled out of their stuff, forced to do things they don't want to do, and basically just out and out being murdered in mass. Name me a group of people who aren't dark that get this done to them other than the Ukraine. I get it. Atrocities abound everywhere, but we need to start dealing with the ones close to us before we start heading out trying to deal with the ones on the other end of the planet. Just a thought. In local news, I'm going to be on the radio. Hooray! Yeah. Um, my homegirl, Jasmine Smith, she reached out to me earlier this week and asked me if I wanted to be on her radio show. So on Monday on KONR Out North Radio 106.1 FM, yours truly will be the topic of discussion. So, if I'm going to be the topic of discussion, we definitely going to be talking about that right there. Most definitely. We are also going to be talking about the kitties, the babies. And a lot of people who know me know this, that I have a heart for the children. I at the risk of sounding cliched and corny, I believe the children are our future. They're going to lead the way regardless. So we should have a hand in molding and shaping that direction. So that is why I am going to be reinforcing things like how important it is for Black people, indigenous people, people of color to have role models. To have role models that they can read about, to have role models on the screens they view, to have role models that they can talk to. That's important. Look at me sounding all responsible and stuff. But yeah, it's a for real thing. Also, I want to give a shout out to the Council of Wakanda Facebook page. If you are a member of the Council of Wakanda Facebook page, shouts out to you. My man Theo B for putting that together. It's my man Sinclair, a couple other folks, Diana Dotto, all of y'all, man, that make that page move and contribute to the education of people about all things Black Panther and T'Challa specifically. Big shouts out to y'all. I wish I could pull y'all up on my Kamoyo beads. Anywho, yeah, this Monday, 10 a.m. And also, I've been informed that it also streams. I don't know when and where it streams. If y'all can get a hold of KONR 106.1 FM wherever you're at in the country and pick it up, cool. If not, I will chop it up with Miss Jasmine and figure out what I got to do to get it to y'all. So, is there anything on y'all minds? Is there anything that I've discussed that y'all want to chop it up for a minute about, that y'all want to talk about? Diversity and roles in Hollywood, He-Man and Master of the Universe Revelation, cops. Dirty cops. Dirty cops in general. Amazing 2EM. Don't believe you've been here before, but welcome and thank you. Amazing 2EM says, I hope I'm saying that right. Says good role models are important. Parents are the most important role models, though. Yeah, for children, most definitely, parents are the most important. Unfortunately, at times, some parents aren't the best role models, and that's something I will probably discuss as well. We don't get to choose our parents, so unfortunately, whatever ends up happening to us because of our parents, we oftentimes remain unaware of until we're adults, or until we end up getting analyzed or something of that nature. A lot of times, like, I can't speak on nobody else, but I can speak on me. I know that parenting is not a specific science. Therefore, people parenting are basically doing it on the fly. And they do it based on a combination of what they observed and were exposed to by their parents and a common sense sort of thing, what they think should be best for a child. Sometimes those two dynamics cross each other, and what we learned and what we think is best for a child gets skewed in that crossing. I was raised by a Southern mother, a mother who grew up in the South and came to the Midwest and brought her Southern sensibilities to Midwestern teaching. Sometimes that required, when you stepped out of line, to get your butt beat. And there were often new, creative, innovative ways in which to beat your butt. That happened. Should it have happened? Is spanking kids, should that automatically be the go-to? I know it is in in a lot of African American homes, but should it be? I'm not saying there isn't a place for it. I'm just saying, do we all know and understand where that place is? Because sometimes the thing with, like, if a kid did something and none of the kids fess up, and I'm just going to whoop all the kids until somebody fesses up. Never like that scenario. I never liked that scenario. I remember one time, well, I'm not finna go into I got a whooping stories, because I went I went into I got a whooping stories last time, and folks was like, oh, you need to go see a shrink, or you was bad. Yeah, maybe. I might need to do both. Who knows? We can all use a little head shrinking every now and then, just when we start to smell ourselves and get beyond our capacity for common sense. So, I that was my load, y'all. That's all I had. I done got it off my chest. Oh goodness. Oh, amazing 2EM. All children learn differently. Spanking works on some, not all. Facts. Because I guess the thought process for me with that is, if I get spanked and I behave for a little while, but then the next opportunity I get to do the same thing I did that got me a spanking in the first place, does that mean I was supposed to get whooped? Was I supposed to? Or was that or I guess more to my point, is spanking having the effect it's supposed to have if I go back and repeat what I was doing previously? Case in point, my mom used to have a huge jar like that big full of silver dollars. And she would use the silver dollars for gas. You know, when she was going to work, she'd get gas. And every now and then I'd pilfer a dollar or two and go out and buy ice cream or a comic book or something like that. You know, and then when she discovered that, they were being pilfered, rather than say, "Did you do this?" She just proceed. Well, she did say, "Did I do it?" But then proceed to spank me. But then I would go back and do it again. So was spanking working? Shouldn't something different have happened? I don't know. That's just the thought process. Okay. 2 a.m. you out here again. Okay. Back to your subject about bad, corrupt police officers come in all colors. Yeah, you're right. Bad, corrupted police do come in all colors. But are there Caucasian cops in black communities causing problems for black communities, or are there black cops in Caucasian communities causing problems for Caucasians? I guess the point that I'm getting at is there are more, or you could check the stat if you need to, but I feel like there are more non people of color police officers than there are people of color police officers. So statistically, the possibility for corruption, abuse of power lies largely in the hands of the majority. Just a thought, though. Just a thought. I'm not saying that corruption is made indicative by color. Not saying that. But I can only speak about situations that I've observed or situations that have affected me directly or use common sense. A lot of times when we read about something that a police officer's done, or we witness something that a police officer's done, up until, and this is just me, up until the George Floyd situation, you always had that argumentative possibility. You always had that, well, what was he doing that made the cop do that? You always had that. So there was really no exposure per se. And again, like I was saying earlier, when you see videos, and this is largely how the vast majority of us get our information about what cops are and aren't doing, is through a video that we view on some type of social media. And like I keep saying, if you aren't watching that video, if they aren't putting that video on from beginning to end, you are getting a snapshot of that situation. We don't know what the person who's down on the ground right now getting the crap beat out of them did to get the crap beat out of them. Did they just punch somebody in the face before the camera came on? Did they just stab somebody before the camera came on? What were the variables involved? We can't come to a concrete decision about what went on with something if there are too many variables involved. In the case with George Floyd, there wasn't no variables at all. There were no variables. My man was just in the wrong, period, point blank. But a lot of these situations, there are variables involved all the time. There are variables involved. It's like there's always, innocent till proven guilty. But if you leave this much of a possibility of innocence, then a good attorney is going to take that, dig off in there, and make that possibility bigger and bigger and bigger, regardless of whether that person is actually innocent or not. In the case of Rodney King, that there was just a travesty. Yeah, exactly. We only see a part of the whole situation. And you can't come to a conclusion about what did or didn't happen if you only see a snapshot of what went on. And unfortunately, hive mentality kicks in once we see these videos and we just start going, oh, did you see what happened? Oh, did you see what that cop did? Oh, did you? And you have conflagration. A lot of those situations is a lot of it's circumstantial. I know I felt some kind of way about the Breonna Taylor situation. But yeah, I'm with you, Em. That's my thing right there. We're all human beings, and you should treat a human being. A lot of people need to learn how to treat a human being, because there are people who say that, and this comes out of people's mouths. There are people who say there are dogs that I would treat better than some human beings. Now you've got to ask yourself, and then this is what I ask myself when people say that. What has been done to you, or what have you witnessed that made you say, I would rather treat a dog better than that mug? That is a testament to the fact that we as human beings treat one another in a very atrocious way. And that's got to stop, man. But how do we go about doing that? I know we could sit here and we can moan and we complain, and this is wasn't what I wanted this to turn into. But hey, strong sense of justice over here. What are we? We can sit and complain. We can moan and bitch about it forever. But what is being done, and what should we do, and what are you doing to change the dynamic? Who do we talk to? I'm going on the radio Monday. I'm gonna do my part. What are we doing as human beings to change the climate? What are we doing as human beings to perpetuate treating one another better? I can sit and complain about it all day. I can sit and bitch and moan about it all day. But that's all it is, and that's all I see, And so I kind of steer away from a lot of social media, because all it is people moaning and complaining and crying, but nobody is standing up and saying this is what needs to be done, or taking any steps to do anything. That there is lip service, ladies and gentlemen. If you aren't being part of the solution, I ain't necessarily going to say you part of the problem, but you sure ain't part of the solution either if you just sitting there looking and saying, oh, that's terrible. Yes, we know that's terrible. What you doing to change the terror? Is it every human being's responsibility to treat folks properly? Yes. Yes. Or to learn how, if nothing else, I do spoken word poetry every now and then. I haven't done any in a while, but I'm reminded of a poem that I had that's called Humane. And there's a verse that constantly repeats. And it says that we are the human race in a race to be humane. For me, in a nutshell, that's what it is for some people. Other people ain't even got out the block yet. You know what I'm saying? So that race is, they ain't even thinking about running that race. It's all about treating human beings like human beings. Remove the colorism factor of it. I mean, notwithstanding mistreatment is mistreatment, regardless. Oh, if you mistreat Asians, then we can't remove the fact that Asians are being mistreated from an equation. If blacks are being mistreated, we can't remove the fact that blacks are being mistreated from an equation. But at the same time, we don't want to turn it into just an exclusively race thing. Systemic racism is a thing, but dealing with it comes from a desire to truly want to see it change. What else can a brother say? Amazing 2EM. Thank you for rocking with me this afternoon. This has been Be Real with D Real. Oh, okay. All right, Emma. Thank you. Emma, amazing too. Okay, now it makes sense. Okay, all right. Thanks for rocking with me, girl. I appreciate it. But I'm about to get out of here now. And as always, I'm gonna be back with another one. This has been Weekend Speaking with D Real. And until then, y'all be good. Good to each other.